Alright, so this video is going to go over how to begin your compositional sketches for your tempera painting. So this is an example of a finished piece. And what I want you to notice is, yes, we kind of have this like underwater scene, but it's divided into sections. So we really use some strong lines or shapes to kind of divide up our composition in an interesting way. So and I'm like in each section, it's showing different parts of the ocean and they kind of combine to create one composition. So in your sketches, you're going to need to think about how do you want to divide up your composition in an interesting way. So I'm going to show you some examples and kind of get you started on that. So you're going to have to do two sketches for me. And here I have two examples. So I did a koala one. I really like koala bears, or they're not a bear. Sorry, I really like koalas. And so I kind of divided it using some diagonal lines into sections, and I have different parts of the koala featured. And then this one is an idea with tulips. And notice my divisions are a little bit different. So you're going to want to draw a couple rectangles on a piece of sketch paper, and I created them. Let's see here how big they are. This is 4 by 6, and it fills my page pretty well. So there is really no right or wrong on this. I really just want you to be as creative as possible whenever you start dividing. And you might also want to think about, well, what is your subject matter going to be and how are you going to divide it? So perhaps my subject matter is going to be something like turtles, or I could do something like fish. It doesn't have to be animals. If you want to do people, or it depends on what your subject is, but you have to have a subject. So I really, whenever I start this, I just look at it and say, how can I create an interesting composition? So maybe I have some kind of organic lines coming out. I could have them kind of radiating out from this corner, and that's going to create an interesting type of movement going on. All right, so once I have my division lines, now I can think about, okay, how do I want to illustrate my subject within this frame now? So maybe I have some sea turtles. I'm going to start by just drawing in some shapes. Now this is a sketch. This is a composition sketch. So that does not mean that, this is your Mona Lisa. This does not have to be your best work. Really what you're doing in a compositional sketch is figuring out your composition. What do you want to portray and how do you want to portray it? Not, I have to portray this the best I can possibly portray it, but really just figuring out what you are going to do in general. So I'm just putting in some sea turtles, kind of like swimming out. Now I could have more sea turtles, I could have something else, I could have fish, or I could have jellyfish, different things coming out. I want to create, have some unity, so I'm going to just keep it with my sea turtles. So that's what you're doing in these compositional sketches, really kind of figuring out how am I going to divide it, how am I going to portray my subject, and you do have to have a subject. I am not telling you what your subject has to be, like it could be cars for all I care. It's really kind of up to you what your subject matter is that you choose. I'm very quickly drawing in some turtles here. They're looking a little rough. This one's going to go off the page a little bit. All right, so this would be kind of an interesting composition with the turtles kind of swimming out. It's really creating this sense of movement kind of in this direction. They're kind of migrating out. So you would have to do two. So this is one idea. Now I need to look at another idea. How can I divide this in an interesting way? I don't know. I might do some sort of kind of lightning strike here. So this kind of divides it in two. Now I always like to do things in threes or odd numbers. So I actually might come in and maybe have another section come here. So now I have 3 sections that I'm looking at for my subject, okay? And again, just like I did here, I'm going to want to place some sort of interesting subject within this frame. Now, my recommendation is get some photo references. Here I have some koalas that I use for photo references. I always use some sort of photo reference whenever I'm starting with my sketches. I could do owls, I could do poppies, and here I have some fish. So I'm going to very quickly look at maybe some ways of doing some jellyfish, just because they're very easy to draw and it's a very quick process for jellyfish. So I could just kind of think about, what's going to be interesting. And the awesome thing about jellyfish is you can have them in all sorts of directions. So I'm going to have one kind of upside down. Maybe I have a tiny one over here, kind of in the background. So think about, what do you like? What do you think would be interesting in your composition? Now, if you don't enjoy like drawing animals, then I wouldn't pick animals as your subject matter. I would definitely pick something that you enjoy doing. And I'm actually going to have this one kind of break the frame and go into this other area, kind of like that. So make sure that it's something that you enjoy, and that you're not just picking just to pick a subject, because if you pick something that you enjoy, you're going to definitely enjoy the whole project a little bit more. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to, once you have your sketches and you have your idea, how to get set up on the mat board.